from the Howden Group, their specialist sports insurance broker, who will give us some valuable insight into the insurance market right now. Now, the stuff that I learnt yesterday was quite interesting, so I'm pleased to invite them to the floor again. So if you'd like to come up, you guys. Clicker's working now.
It's not very often insurance gets called exciting, I can tell you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks a million for having us here today. My name is Mike Farrell. This is my colleague Dean Turner. We both work for Howden Insurance Brokers. We are a specialist sport and entertainment division, so everything we do day to day, from the largest international sporting events that you can think of, such as the Olympic Games, and I don't want to mention Rugby World Cups for obvious reasons. But large scale events like that is our bread and butter, all the way down to individual coaches anywhere up and down the country. So everything was within our remit, both national and international as well. Just an idea of our expertise in the world of golf. The Ryder Cup has been a client of ours for probably 10 or 15 years now. If those of you saw the clips just after the Ryder Cup of the fire that was going through hospitality, yes, we are dealing with that at the minute, unfortunately. PGA we've worked with for 20 years, the DP World Tour as well for over 10 years, England Golf, the GCMA, and we've been working with Wales Golf and our partners now for about 18 months. So our work in golf is vast. I think at the minute we're in excess of 500 golf clubs as clients as well, in every part of the country. So it's an area we're massively expanding and continuing to do so. I wanted to give just a snapshot into the golf insurance market. I appreciate the conversations we've had with clubs in the last year. It's slowly increasing in terms of its heightened awareness in the golf club arena. There's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, volatile seasonal weather, as we've seen in the last week, is having a massive impact on insurers' appetites. And they are really being considerate and selective on their risks for a number of reasons. And geography, unfortunately, is a consideration. A reduction in market capacity due to the volatile nature of claims, that has led to insurers reducing the level of covers that they want to provide to clubs, unfortunately. That's led for our job as brokers being a little bit more in depth and trying to get the right sort of products for the right sort of clubs. Because of that, we do have fewer insurers. There aren't a panel of 10 insurers that we can go to looking for golf club insurance. Unfortunately, there are only a handful because of the nature of the risks. There was a point a few years ago in the market where it was a race to the bottom. It was who can get the policy on at the cheapest price. Unfortunately, the lower the price goes, but claims continue to go that way, there's a gap. That has led to clubs, unfortunately, being left a little bit in the lurch with very last minute delays, clients needing extensions because their broker can't facilitate an insurance policy for them. So it's led to a lot of additional work that's needed to be done. I mean, even on our side of things, we started our new scheme about 18 months ago, and that's taken about 6 to 12 months of work to get that operation of making sure the product that we have is fit for purpose and is giving golf clubs what they want and what they need. It's a big area. If I can give any recommendations to general managers of clubs or any staff of clubs, it's try and start the process as soon as possible. For clients who come to us, 8 weeks is golden because it gives everyone time to collect the information. If you're coming to us as a prospect looking for something new, 4 to 6 weeks is grand. It will suffice. It gives us the time to do everything, collect the information from you as well to get everything across as soon as possible. Personally, I don't want to be in a position where you talk to people about extensions and you're in this grey area not knowing whether you are or aren't covered, when does it start, when does it stop. So getting the process as soon as possible kicked in is really beneficial. In terms of selective risks and insurers, I just wanted to touch on a point citation made about risk assessments. Insurers are now being more selective. I mentioned about the geography and volatility of weather and that being a factor. Risk management and processes as well are vital, and they will ask questions about this. We recently hosted a mock trial last week with a number of clients of ours to give them an idea of what would happen in the event of the incident. It was based around a slip at an awards dinner, all the way from the day of the slip to litigation. And one of the key elements that the barristers mentioned there was your risk assessments and risk management processes are vital. Are you happy to sit in a courtroom with your risk assessment and say, yeah, this is sufficient? That's the level that they're telling people to be wary of. Having a system like that with citation and having that record in hand is vital. That is potentially a lifesaver when it comes to handling claims. So I just wanted to pass away appreciation to you both.
It's also something that we see come up with when you're on with an insurer. They will do a management risk survey at your club. Anything that's got a total sums insured of in excess of £5 million, they like to do that just to check the risk. We've got a rather extensive 17-page form that we need to fill out prior to getting a quotation for yourselves. As Mike said, that's why we like to do it so far in advance, so that we can get that right. We also, I've worked in golf pretty much most of my life, from being a PGA pro right the way to being on the board of my current club. I really need to learn to say no, and apart from the parking space, there's not much more I get out of it, sadly. But we've been in and around golf. We know general managers, secretaries, there's not enough hours in the day for you to do your job, so to expect you to sit there for 4 or 5 hours and fill in this form, that's why we start so early on. A big part of this form is risk management, risk assessment. Do you deal with an external company, as such as citation? So it's important to start as early as we can to get all of the information correct. Also, the information that we send over to the insurer needs to be spot on. With things like fire suppression systems in kitchens, that's coming in. You know, it's one thing that is probably the next thing most golf clubs and food areas throughout the whole sector are going to need. We're keen to make sure you know this, keen to make sure if you haven't got it that we let the insurers know so that we get all of your information correct. That's fair, isn't it?
Massive, massive. As I say, the risk management process now is the hottest topic that every underwriter will be. Secondly to that, I'll let you mention everything.
Yeah, just a couple of points that we see day-to-day visiting golf clubs and speaking to golf clubs. One of the main issues that we're seeing is property valuations, rebuild cost assessments. We're finding a lot of properties, the rebuild cost assessment is out of date, and that doesn't necessarily need to have been 5 years ago. We're seeing changes with property costs that were done 24 months ago, and they can literally have changed within the last 24 months.
Can I just ask, when was the last time you had your building evaluated? Has anyone had it done in the last year or two?
Yeah.
2 years. A lot of those.
And it was maybe something that, you know, it's one of those housekeeping duties that slipped with the chaos of COVID, dare we say. It's really worth getting done, and we're finding that insurers now, it may well be a stipulation of putting you on cover that you do get a rebuild cost assessment. The impact of not getting that correct is massive if you were to have a total loss claim. There's an example on the screen with the figures, which I won't spend too much time on, but it can massively affect what you're going to get paid out for a total loss claim, in as much as, you know, almost £1 million off what you may need to claim, and it can be that excessive. So it's so important to get that figure. That's clubhouse, that's greenkeeper sheds, halfway houses, outbuildings, starters huts, anything that is going to be part of that claim, and it really is massive. The incident at the Ryder Cup, it was quite alarming to see that the hospitality unit is completely on, you know, up in flames. There's actually a 4-ball playing golf in front of it, which I thought was hilarious. Anybody with social media will have seen these happy golfers wandering around whilst the tent is up in flames.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So yeah, we need to get that right. Also another thing, can I have a show of hands who's got a visitors and members policy at their golf club that they know of? Couple? It's getting more and more popular and more necessary to know exactly who is insured on your golf course. The implication of that is it could say if a claim going against your commercial combined policy, if it's something that could be put back to that golfer's individual insurance, whether it be a claim, a neighbouring property claim, which if you've got properties on the extremities of your golf clubs, you know, they're not the most understanding of people sometimes, even though the golf club was there way before they were. So that's something to consider, and these are just thought-provoking things for people to take away. We're happy to speak about it, we'll drop you all a card. And another one that we've seen a risk sort of heighten over the past few years is cyber insurance, that ensuring the safely kept data of members. We see a lot of breaches around sort of members' subscription renewal times where you're sending out mass emails to the whole membership group. It's important to keep that safe, so that's another thing that is on the rise at the moment. Also one which is not on there, which came up yesterday, which is quite important, spoke to a lot of managers about it, is directors and officers. Management liability cover. A lot of general managers, even secretaries that we speak to, directors of golf clubs, members of committees, they don't actually quite understand what they're signing up for. Luckily when I went into it I did, but actually some of the people who sit on the board alongside me at my own club didn't realise their names were going to be on paperwork at Company's House. They didn't know the legal entity that they were taking on the responsibility as custodians of that golf club. So that again is something that sometimes general managers need to share with the committee and give them the option. It's amazing how many risks we see that do have it and then ones that don't. And really it's not the most costly of policies, but realistically probably should be in place. But as I say, we're happy to talk about any of those with you guys, and hopefully that helps.
I just wanted to add one extra comment on the cyber insurance, as well as the sort of, I think when you think of cyber insurance, we think of the emails that go out and God forbid, references of individuals' emails being sent across. We have had a claim at a golf club where a member of the public took a photo of one of the members' names and addresses and telephone numbers.
It was quite a high profile.
It was a professional footballer, and that person was in it. Let's just say the individual who took the photo was a fan of the rival club, and used that to take the mic up, essentially, order pizzas to their house and that sort of stuff. That has kicked into an unbelievable claim. We never thought we would see something like that. We expect the data breaches to be hacking attempts, emails, something as silly as someone taking a photo is still a data breach. So it's still, risk management advice, not to have that, on the top of a counter if you're registering for any events or anything like that. Keep it under one at a time. But it's just another example. It's part of the insurance program which all clubs, not even just golf, but all clubs need to consider as part of their armour, as it were.
Just a very quick one as well, just on the came up yesterday. With Mike saying we'd like to try and sort the process out as early as possible. A massive bugbear of both of us and our team altogether is when people and companies leave your renewals right to a week before you're due to renew. And it has become a real problem with carriers and underwriters pulling out of the marketplace, brokers deciding they're not going to do golf anymore. If that is the case and you find yourself in that situation, please don't be afraid to get in touch. We can, on an emergency basis, pull in a favour and get a quote turned around rather quickly. We have had an incident recently, one that I dealt with, a club in Yorkshire were in a dispute over the level of cover that they were supposedly supposed to have from an insurer. Unfortunately, the insurer then pulled the cover back to their inception date, which actually left them with no insurance for, it was around about 4 months, 5 months. We managed to turn that round within 3 days. The general manager was actually in tears. He was supposed to be going to play golf in Portugal and didn't want to go away, leaving the golf club, completely uninsured. So we can turn it around, and you do unfortunately find yourself in that kind of situation. But as much of a head start as we can get is preferable.
Yeah, definitely. Our details are up there. We're here for a couple of hours, so if you need anything, please do jump, ask, or if you have any questions now, please fire away. No? Anyone? Great. Lovely.
Job
Thanks a
done.
million.
Are we on time?
Yeah. What time is that?
Thanks, guys.
Right, well done. Yeah.
Thank you.